Hi everyone, Aiden here at the etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat Sherpa 2.0 and seeing how it fits on the back of our 2023 Toyota RAV4. Now this is going to be a platform style bike rack, and this one is going to be a really nice one. It's really easy to use. It works with a pretty wide range of bikes, not as many as some others, but a pretty good range. And it's going to have some unique things like color options. You don't get that with every bike rack around, so if you want to get this matched to your vehicle and have it look really nice on the back, you can do that. We've got the gray version on display right now, but you can also get that in a black color or a pearl color, which is a more white material. For me, on this RAV4, I'd probably go with the pearl just because it would match really nicely, but that really just comes down to the aesthetics. With this one being a platform style bike rack, you do have the ability to tilt it away with the bikes loaded. Not all platform racks have that, but this one does. There's a pedal near the front tray right here that we can pull and lower it down. Because the rack is pretty lightweight and it doesn't tilt super far, it is actually pretty easy to do by yourself. Other racks that have a really extreme tilt or have a mechanism that's maybe hard to get to, it's a little more difficult, but this one's very nice and easy to do. And it gives you room to get to the back cargo area of your vehicle. Now, it does sit a little bit close to the bumper here, so if you want to maybe sit here and change your shoes before or after your ride, if you've got longer legs, you might find that it's a little hard to get your feet up here on the bike rack, but it is possible. And it gives you a nice place to sit down and not have to worry about taking your bikes off the bike rack. It is also kind of close with our handlebars here, but this is a pretty large mountain bike with wide handlebars, and if it clears that, I think for most other bikes you should be fine. Lifting it back into place, we can take a closer look at how it holds the bike. There's a pivoting back wheel cradle with a wheel strap that's going to hold the back wheel down, and that pivoting cradle accommodates for different wheelbases. And then up at the front, we've got a wheel hook. Now, you'll notice that there's no frame contact here, making this a good option for carbon frame and alternative frame bikes. It does have a 40-pound weight capacity per bike, which is pretty solid, but if you have an e-bike, that may not be your best option. If you need that 60-pound weight capacity like you might find on a lot of other racks, I'd recommend checking out the Rocky Mounts monorail. Very similar rack, but gives you that boost in weight capacity. Getting the bike unloaded, we'll do the back wheel strap first, pressing on the button and pulling that ratcheting strap out. And then for the hook, same thing. We've got a button, push up and out, and then we can lift the bike up and away. And because you just swing that wheel hook out to the side, you don't have to worry about any obstructions in your way, like something of a center mast. Many bike racks that have frame contact are going to have a mast in the center, kind of obstructing things and making it harder to reach things and get the bikes loaded and unloaded. The front cradle folds up on itself, the wheel strap can get tucked back in, and the wheel hook can also get tucked back in, leaving a nice, clean, compact form behind. And we can get some measurements. The first one I'm going to check out is ground clearance. At the back end, the lowest point is 19.5 inches from the ground. Looking at the bike rack, we see there's a good rise in the shank that gives us that extra boost in ground clearance, something I don't think we'll really have to worry about here. And then the distance added to the back, it's only going to be sticking out 30 inches, which is actually really good for a two-bike rack. That's not too crazy, but it is something to keep in mind when we're driving around. And when it's unloaded, we can fold it up against the vehicle using that same pedal that we did before. This is going to be a great way to save space, but also leave it in the hitch between rides. So it's ready to go, just fold down and load up whenever we're ready to ride next. In this state, it only sticks out 12 inches, a lot more compact, easier to fit into parking spaces, and the closest point to the vehicle is 2 1/4 inches from the bumper. So it does sit pretty close, pretty compact, but there's really no movement at the pivot point here, so I'm not worried about vehicle contact. And with it folded up like this, we've got full visibility of our license plate, backup camera, and tail lights. So I'm not worried about any of those being obstructed. Obviously, when you have bikes loaded up, some of these are going to be obstructed, and to varying levels depending on the bikes you load up, but you've got bikes on the back of your car. It's kind of to be expected. In the storage space, though, nothing's really obstructed. Down at the bottom, it's working with our 2-inch by 2-inch receiver tube and comes with a locking hitch pin. And for an anti-rattle device, we've got it built into the bike rack in the form of this tool-free hand knob that you can loosen or tighten up to make sure things are nice and solid in the hitch, and the lock makes sure things stay locked up. At the top of the rack, there is another locking point for a cable lock, so we can make sure our bikes stay locked to the rack and the rack stays locked to the vehicle. I think between the very compact size, the lightweight design of the bike rack, and the general ease of use, it's a really solid option. It fits well on the RAV4 here, and it gives you some color options to think about aesthetics and things too. Like I mentioned before, if you need the extra boost in weight capacity, the monorail is probably a good option to look at. Otherwise, if you don't need that, I think the Sherpa is a really solid choice. Thanks for watching.